We continue our relief pitching positional preview. DJ's got his top 20. Scott's got his top 20. We're going to take a look at where they're a little similar and, of course, where they differ. DJ, let's start with you and go 20-11 here.
Yeah, so I start out a little interesting here with my top 20. I have Paul Sewald, Andres Munoz back-to-back, both on the Mariners. Sewald not quite as dominant last year as he was in 2021, so I'm interested to see how he starts off. I think some save chances will be divided up there, but Munoz, when it's all said and done, will have those strikeouts, so he can help you even if he's not getting saves, and there's always the chance he gets the primary role. I already went over why I like Alexis Diaz to potentially make that step forward, and why I really am not going to pay for Daniel Bard this season. Scott Barlow, I think, is a little bit underrated, and I'm not too worried about the presence of Aroldis Chapman, who I think is on the back nine for his career. Number 15, I have Pete Fairbanks here. The Rays always keep us on our toes from a fantasy perspective with the closer role, but Fairbanks was lights out last year.
Jarring ERA.
Yeah, I mean, lights out there. Yohan Duran, I have at number 14. Jorge Lopez struggled after the trade from the Orioles last season. The Orioles were smart to trade in on that. But we'll see what happens in that bullpen. But Duran is another one of those guys. Like, if he gets the primary role, he could jump into that top 10 stratosphere, at least one of the nastiest throwers in the game. David Bednar dealt with an injury last year, but I think he's rock solid. There are some concerns based on what Scott said. Always a chance he could be traded. I moved Felix Bautista down a couple of spots with the news of the knee and the shoulder so far this spring. We'll see how things go. If he trends in the right direction, he's ready for opening day, maybe I'll put him back in my top 10. I have Kenley Jansen at 11. He'll have the primary closer role after that big contract, but probably not going to pay his ADP.
Scott, how's your 20-11 stack up? Curious where you differ from DJ and where you guys kind of see some things the same.
Yeah, I think you'll hear a lot of the same names in the same spots. I have Jose Leclerc as my number 20 closer, Kevin Smith's favorite closer. The team's improved, and he's got the baton to start the season, so I think he can maybe come into 20 saves. I like Alexis Diaz in Cincinnati, maybe just an eyelash less than DJ, only because the walk problem concerns me, and we know it's a homer-friendly stadium, but man, that strikeout rate, that stuff is electric. Paul Sewald at 18. Pete Fairbanks, I'll skip ahead, is 16. Andres Munoz, 15. Those are three closers you don't know if they'll be sharing with other people. Although if anybody in Tampa Bay is going to get 25 saves, it's going to be Fairbanks. We both have concerns about Daniel Bard. I slotted him at 17, but age 38 season, big walk problem. He's in the wrong park. I don't want you to draft him. Yohan Duran, 100-mile-an-hour fastball. This guy lights up the radar gun. He looked the part when he was given that closer gig in the second half of last year. I think Minnesota will win 85 ball games this year. Duran will shake hands at a lot of the end of those games. Clay Holmes, what do we do with this guy? He was unhittable for a half. He was really hittable for the second half. He was hurt for a while. And we know the Yankees, if there's any problem with Holmes, they'll put somebody else in the ninth inning. They'll maybe make a trade for somebody. I feel like you have to rank him proactively, and I'm sure he's higher on DJ's list than he is on mine, but I didn't really know what to do with him. I put him at 13. David Bednar, it's really a case of, do you think Pittsburgh trades him? He'll certainly be their closer. He'll get 15 saves, 18 saves, 20 saves, and then Pittsburgh will not contend. They're happy to take that revenue sharing money and put it in their pocket. They're really not trying to put any disguise on it. They want to win 65 games every year. Bednar will save probably about half of those if he sticks. I don't know if he will. Although I ranked Jansen at 11, he's somebody DJ and I don't want to draft into an age 35 season. Does the pitch clock bother him? He's probably a 60-inning guy at this point in time, and this is the weakest Red Sox team we've probably seen in 10 seasons.
DJ, looking at 10-6, a little bit more premium assets, and I know your 10 starts with somebody Scott touched on in Clay Holmes. How do you evaluate a guy like that we've seen the roller coaster, but a team that's going to win a lot of ball games?
Yeah, so he had one bad stretch last year, which basically coincided with a back injury. I know there was a shoulder issue toward the end of the season, but to me, I have to look at it through that context. So for me, assuming he's at full health, he's the primary guy there. I think Michael King is one to watch as a potential fallback, but I think, full health, Holmes has found, sort of a new level here, and it's a Yankees closer, so you have to be aggressive there. Camilo Doval, I really like what he did during the second half last year as far as putting the ball on the ground, missing bats. Control was a little off in the second half, so I think that's something to watch, but you like the ballpark too. I think he's going to be fine. Ryan Helsley finished the year last year with a finger injury, but plenty of time to heal from that. the velocity spike that he's had, he's a monster. Devin Williams, this is finally his opportunity to be a primary closer following the Josh Hader trade. First full season in the closer role. I think the control kind of separates him from some of the elite options here, but I think he can be rock solid. And I have Ryan Pressly at number 6. He had some injuries last year, but finished the season strong. And, of course, you love drafting a closer on a really good team, and I expect the Astros to be a 95-plus win team this season.
Scott, how does 10-6 compare for you?
Yeah, a lot of the same guys. Camilo Doval, we've talked a lot in the show. The walk rate isn't perfect, but I like the way San Francisco handles their pitching staff, and I could see him taking a step forward for what's going to be a winning team. I do have Felix Bautista right now as closer 9, but he's probably going to move down my board because I'm worried about that knee. I'm worried about that shoulder. And again, Baltimore thinks they're a contender, which means the leash could be short. So I probably misranked him, bump him down a few slots. Ryan Helsley got a chance to close second half last year and looked the part. That walkout strike rate is outstanding. I think he'll have a really strong year for a Cardinals team that probably wins around 90 games. And one of my goals here, I'm always trying to find a tier 1 closer at a tier 2 price. And that's what Ryan Pressly is. That's what Raisel Iglesias is. Guys who you're going to take 20 or 30 picks after your top ranked closers, but any of them could lead, either of those guys could lead the majors in saves. I want you to target both of them in your 2023 Yahoo drafts.
All right, let's close this thing out. Top 5s here, DJ. These are the premium. There's no way around it. These are the tier 1 guys. Who are your top 5 going into the season?
So Jordan Romano I have at number 5. He has a 2.03 ERA over the past 3 seasons. And it feels like nobody talks about that. I expect the Blue Jays to be very, very good, and I think Romano is underrated. Number 4, I have Raisel Iglesias. So I actually have him a little bit higher than Scott, and I know how much Scott likes him. I think closing for the Braves is going to be money. He was great after the trade last year. I'm going to be super aggressive on Iglesias this year. Number 3, I have Josh Hader. It's kind of just like what Josh Hader is going to show up. Is it going to be the one that struggled in the middle of the season? Is it going to be the one who finished strong in the regular season, in the postseason? We'll see, but the upside is obviously still through the roof there. Emmanuel Clase, I think he's probably, Diaz is, I have number 1 here just because of the strikeout upside, but Clase might even be more efficient than Diaz, and I think the Guardians are going to be a really good team. Diaz, you can't go wrong. 118 strikeouts, just ridiculous what he did last year. Has really become comfortable pitching in New York, which I think is a big thing for him. I think you have to go Diaz number 1, but Clase is really not too far behind.
Scott, I know a lot of the same names again for the top 5, but a little bit different order here on the back end. I really want to hear about number 5 for you and where your concerns might lie, because this is a guy that has been at the top for a little bit now.
Yeah, I just feel like the Josh Hader we used to know that we fell in love with is gone because he's always been a little bit wild, but the walk problem's gotten a little bit out of hand, and he's got a little bit of a homer problem too. And San Diego, they're not going to hesitate. If Hader gets off to a bad start, I could see him losing that job. I still have him ranked running a relief pitcher 5, but I'm not going to draft into Hader this year. Devin Williams gets the big chair in Milwaukee. Guy also walks a few too many batters, but he's got a big strikeout rate. I think he's going to get 35 or 40 saves to a Milwaukee team that probably makes a wild card run. Jordan Romano, last year I talked about I want tier 2 prices on my closers. It can be tier 1 guys. That was Jordan Romano last year. This year he'll be a little bit more expensive, but if you think Toronto's going to win 90 games, and I sure do, then Jordan Romano is somebody you're going to be targeting. Now, I have Clase at 2. I have Diaz at 1. They're different pitchers in the sense that with Clase, he doesn't walk anybody. Nobody hits a home run off this guy unless you get a 2-iron in your hands, but he doesn't have a crazy strikeout rate. Now, Diaz strikes out everybody. So with Clase, you're living more with the pitch to contact. Maybe he allows a few more hits as the shift goes away this year, but I like this Guardians team. Terry Francona is usually very good to his closers. I have no problem spending a premium pick on Clase. The thing with Diaz is it just, do you have the stomach to pay the freight on him ADP wise and give up your 3rd or 4th best hitter, give up one of your top starting pitchers? I probably won't do that. But man, anytime somebody on your staff strikes out 17 guys per 9 innings, he's got unbelievable stuff. The Mets could have the best roster, maybe the best pitching staff in the National League. So I don't think I'll write the ticket on Diaz, but I understand why people will.
I think what's interesting about Diaz is, like, let's say you pick a starter who maybe doesn't have the monster strikeout rate. He kind of helps you balance that out and make up for it. So I think in certain situations, Diaz is great, and you'll feel good no matter what if you draft him, but obviously in certain situations it makes more sense than others.
And with that,
remember in Yahoo too,
Scott.
the Yahoo Standard League, right, has a innings cap, and it's become a cap that a lot of fantasy teams won't even go near because the starters don't throw as many innings. So DJ makes a great point that we're in an era now, the shape of baseball now, the strikeout rate, it used to be with the closers, okay, how many saves does he get? You wouldn't even really think so much about their strikeouts. But because Diaz's strikeout rate is so removed from everybody else in this pool, he could allow you to maybe take some pitch to contact starting pitchers that you normally wouldn't want because you feel like Diaz is going to make up the strikeouts for you. So that's a great point. The shape of baseball has changed. It's so much more reliever driven now. And so getting those 125 strikeouts from Diaz probably mean more than they might have 10 years ago.
And with that, we conclude another positional preview for Circling the Bases. The reliever market, top 20s from each of these guys. Well done. For Scott Pianowski, DJ Short, I'm Connor Rogers. We'll talk to you soon.